The other thing we want to get into on this episode was just some of our favorite smartphone applications, so smartphone apps. As you guys know, if you've listened to even like one episode, you've probably gathered our favorite like food tracking apps, but we're definitely team Chronometer, still don't know how to say it, sorry.
Dude, I have a funny story for you, Lori, about chronometer or chronometer. So,
Taishin.
yeah. So I didn't know this until recently, but a guy in my fraternity, he was a senior when I was a freshman, so like a pledge. He actually co-founded Chronometer. And like, I've already talked with him and he was doing some research and stuff but his name is Spencer. He and I were in the same fraternity and he started Chronometer, which is hilarious to me. And then he reached out to me recently to do some they're trying to make, I guess, more options for coaches. Yeah, that's the primary tracking app that I use to coach my clients because they have that built-in client management.
Fuck MyFitnessPal. I used MyFitnessPal from, that would have been 2012 until like 2017. There's nothing wrong with MyFitnessPal, just to be clear. At the end of the day, all of these apps, you just have to figure out, like, they all do the same things. But my favorite things about Chronometer is I'm reckless. And so when I track my food, I'm usually recalling for majority of the day. I'm not worried about timestamps. I'm not doing any of that. Like the way I track, I literally just like quickly track all the things I eat. And then I'll move them around to also connect the dots and be like, okay, for breakfast, I know I had XYZ. Am I missing anything? Oh shit, I forgot my coffee. Okay, cool. But with Chronometer, you don't have to set targets. So you can just track your food without having to be like, oh, I need to hit specific amount of protein, specific amount of carbs. But reversely, it's super flexible. So if you're like, hey, I just want to track protein and calories and I don't set specific goals for carbs and fat, you can do that. I actually want to like write to Chronometer and be like, hey, please give the option to turn off the food tracking streak. Because this, like, I don't want it. Same thing. I was like, I remember MyFitnessPal be like, 1,200 days and be like, you should take a break, woman. Like, what are we doing, right? Obviously, we just had Greg Knuckles with Macro Factor, another great option. Basically, Macro Factor is going to be more self-guided. So rather than necessarily being reliant on a coach, you could use Macro Factor to actually take you through a cut, take you through a bulk, et cetera, et cetera. And so things are a little more automated in that way. Way back in the day, I used to use an app called Sleep Cycle. And so basically what you would do is you would charge your phone and have it on your nightstand. And then I think it like used like the microphone end of the phone. And so it'd basically pick up any like rustling of you, tossing and turning in your sleep and stuff like that. That was my biggest flex, like way back in the days. Like I remember there was maybe like 3 or 4 times that I got like a perfect score on my sleep. I'd be like, fuck yeah. The same thing, like you'd be like just shy of it and be like, fuck this thing, I hate it.
I do use this app called Time Shifter for jet lag though. That one's super helpful.
And I think, was it Kate Lyman just posted she used Time Shifter when she was traveling to Italy and she was...
It's super helpful. I mean, if you travel internationally at all, it's worth it because jet lag sucks. And if you can minimize the effects of it, you'll have much better experience traveling.
I'm definitely, when it comes to running apps, I don't have tons of experience with apps like Strava. I know tons of people love them. I will say there was one time, and I think it's because it was when I was in Austin and I was stand-up paddleboarding a lot. And so I was like, oh, I would love to be able to like track my stand-up paddle boards. And so I think I downloaded Strava, and I don't know if this is present day, but I know they got like $80 out of me by accident because it was that whole like, oh, try the free trial. And then after 7 days, we take your money. And sure enough, I'm that person that's like, you just signed me up for a year and I'm not going to use it. Shit. You were team Nike Run app when you did your marathon stuff, right?
Yeah, no, I really liked Nike Run Club. It's free. If you're new to running and don't really know where to start, you can just put in, hey, I have this goal. I want to run like a 5K or whatever. And you'll tell it like, oh, this is how much I'm running right now. And then it'll build you out a program based on, your level and how much you want to run. You can buy some shoes on there if you are so inclined.
It does make me wonder like how they support the app if it's free, but
it's through buying shoes. You can buy shoes like through the app. So, I mean, it's Nike. They make fucking billions of dollars a year. So
the only other app I had to throw in the pot was All Trails, which basically All Trails is just like, if you are going to go hiking, if you're trying to plan some sort of trail run, basically all trails you can see, how long is it? What type of trail is it in terms of, is it an in and out? Is it, one big loop? I don't know exactly what you get if you like upgrade your subscription, but I think you just get like more stuff with it. I will end this little story, and I think I texted you about it earlier, but last night Charlie was like, hey, you want to go run 3 miles? So I was like, okay, yeah, like whatever. I didn't look into it. Like literally was just like, hey, like you want to go here? And like holds up the phone.
You should know better with Charlie at this point.
Alex, literally, like in retrospect, like, when you roll up to a mountain and there's all those signs and it says like, hey, make sure you have this much water. And there's like pictures. And so same thing. It was like San Diego's highest point. Like the elevation was only, I think the vert was like 950 or something. This was one of those, it was like, we were 10 minutes in and I was like, no, I cannot do this today. And so I'm pissed. It was actually the first time that I've ever like bailed on any sort of like hike or trail run situation. But it was like, that was not what I signed up for. And it was indeed 3 miles, but it was like, we were out there for like 45 minutes and we were still like a third of the way in or something. It was like, it was not happening. So
was your Apple Watch screaming at you? Was it screaming like, what are you doing?
I should know better because that's a very like on brand Charlie thing to just think, oh yeah, it looks great. And then turns out it's like the most difficult freaking trail run or, hike you could do in San Diego type thing. All trails is awesome if you're trying to find a cool spot to go for a run, go for a hike, that sort of thing. Any other apps? I think that's my biggies.
Yeah, I think we had like Apple Health and Google Fit. So like you can see all your data. Apple Health is actually quite useful because you can sync everything up. So
well, I was going to say you can sync stuff, but you can also put like emergency info. It is also dope to know like, oh, like God forbid I ever end up in the ER, they could quick like pull up that info, know exactly, Well, I hope that people don't hate me, but as always, it's like I like giving unbiased reviews. I think they're very helpful. There's nothing worse than wasting your money, being disappointed. So hopefully, it's like if you're really passionate about something and I like poo-pooed all over it today, I'm sorry. These are just kind of our personal experiences, personal reviews. And if it works for you, keep doing you. Just love me. Love me.